So we are, as David said, we are a New Thought Spiritual Center, and we believe that we are all individualized expressions of the one love, which means that we have the power within us to visualize, to take action on, and to create a world that we want to live in, a world that works for all of us. That's what we get to do. That's ours to do, and however way you see that. And so we just are here to encourage you to live the life that you want to live, to let you know that you can, to let you know that you are supported fully by the universe, by God, or whatever you call that, and by us. And so we welcome you here today. Thank you so much for being here in the room. Thank you. And thank you to those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, possibly right now, or watching later on our YouTube channel, or watching on the website. Thank you so much for being here. So I try to have a continuation of what we're talking about, and so talk a little bit about what last week's talk was about and what today's talk's about. So last week we talked about change how you play. Change how you play. And what that simply means is that the only thing that we are in control of is what we decide to do. That is it. How we're going to do something, what we're going to do, whether we will or won't do it. We have no ability to change what anybody else is doing. Is there a game being played? All you can do is step away from it, or play it the way you want to play it. Whatever that means to you, those are the choices that you get to make, and you get to make them all the time, every day, every moment of the day. What do you want to be involved with and engaged in? And it is okay. We don't have to do it in a negative way, or it's a loving thing for yourself and for others to be where you want to be every moment of the day. So that was what last week was about. Today's talk is about waking from within. Wake from within. And the point of this is that we don't need to look to others for what it is that is ours to do. That's one of my favorite sayings to say, is what is ours to do. We wake from within because we know already what is ours to do. Sometimes we don't want to believe it. Sometimes we're afraid of it. Sometimes we're concerned because we don't know exactly what the steps are, and that's okay. But we know intuitively what is ours to do. Our heart's speaking to us. And what I want you to know for sure, the talk point today, is that you may not be the center of the universe, but you are the center of your universe. You're the center of yours. And so you get to make choices for yourself every day, all day, whatever you want to do. And so when I was starting to write the book that I'm writing now, it's a nonfiction book called Change Your Story. And I wanted to have quotes as it began, and as every chapter began, I wanted to have some quotes. And one of the quotes that I love is from Oprah Winfrey, when she talks about what I know for sure. I love that. And so I was reading about it and how she came upon that. And that question was actually asked of her by Gene Siskel, who was part of Siskel and Ebert, the review team, and he died a while back. But that was a question he asked her in an interview. What do you know for sure? And it took her back. The question threw her, because she'd never thought of it, never been asked it before. And she realized that what that question means, and what it means to me, is that I need to take stock of my life. What do I know? What do I think I know? And how do I think I know it? How do I know that for sure? And the thing is that what I know for sure, what has come to mean to me, and what I know for sure, how it helps my life, is that we've talked about this many, many times. There's just no end to the number of people who are willing to give you advice about your life. There's just no end. Everybody's got something to say. Everybody's got a comment. That's fine. Everybody can have their own comment. But what you know for sure about your life is what holds you in good stead, so that you know that you're not moved with the winds. There's always someone standing on a platform talking about how this is how this should be, and that's how that should be, and if you were a good person, you'd be doing this, and if you weren't all the opinions that everybody has. And we can be swayed and just blown in the wind if we're not firm about who we are and what matters to us. And one of the ways that we figure that out is the experiences that we live through and discovering what we have learned from those experiences. That's how I know what I know for sure, because of what I've been through and what I did to get through that, and knowing that those are steps that I can do again and again and again because they are universal laws. I'm not just making stuff up every day. It's universal laws. One of the laws, or one of the experiences that I've known this my whole life. I didn't have a finger on it. I didn't understand what it was. I know now as an adult. But I have known Spirit, George, so I call him George, because I've been talking to George my whole life. Ever since I was a kid, and I was in trouble, or I couldn't find something, or something was bothering me. I was always talking to George. What's this about? What's going on? How can I find it? It was always a calming voice talking to me and saying, it's going to be all right. I'm here with you now. Don't worry. It'll work out okay. Here's what you're going to do. Whatever the thought was that was coming to me, and it brought me peace. So I know for sure Spirit lives in me, that I am an individualized expression, as are you. And that source, that wisdom, that peace, all that you need is available to you every single moment of every single day. And once you know that for sure, no one can argue with you about whether there is or there is not a God, or whatever you're calling it. It's up to you to discover whether you want to know that or not, because it's true. But whether you want to know it or not, it's up to you. And that's how you begin to know what you know for sure. What you know for sure. So when I'm talking about waking from within, it's about trusting what you know. One of the things that we do a lot, and this is part of the way the mind works. The logic mind is very powerful. It's very powerful. And what I've come to understand from people I've talked with, psychologists and people who think they know things, and it makes sense to me what they're saying, is that for some reason the male mind, of going right and left, has to actually shut down one part of the mind to go to the other. Women can flow back and forth with it going. It's just the way it is. It's just the way your mind works. That's all. And so, and even with us, when the logic is there, it's hard to dissuade it to just go with your heart and say, well, how do you know? Because I know. The logic mind doesn't want to hear that. What? Right? Wants to know, wait, I'm sorry. What are the steps? Who told you? What experience? How do you? Who? Right? What authority do you have to know these things? I have the authority within me. The God in me, the divine one in me, that I have understood over the years what that sounds like, what that voice is like, whether it's a voice or whether it's a synchronicity, or whether it's something that you see or someone call, whatever it is, however you utilize Spirit in your life, however you know for sure that God is speaking to you, you have that information available, and you know you do. You know that you do. You just don't know how to explain it to anybody, and so because you can't explain it, it makes you think that it's not real. But you know from your experience that it is. You know from your experience, and unfortunately, it's only when we're in a really bad place that we get to know that place. We can know it. We don't have to go there. But it's one of those things that once you're there and you got no place else to turn, then you know for sure. And use that negative experience to know for sure. You can always revisit it. I knew that then. I'll know it now. I knew it then. I'll know it now. That same voice or whatever came to you will come to you now, anytime. You don't have to be on the brink. One of the things I shared with you all a while back was my relationship with Spirit. My mom was highly spiritual. She was highly spiritual. But she also had some other beliefs about that just came from her upbringing, and I was raised that way too. I had to actually get rid of them. About, you have to be poor because only poor people go to heaven, and rich people are terrible, and so money is no good. It's the root of all evil, all this sort of thing. So we were always broke and poor, right? And looking for the next meal. But the next meal always showed up. Whatever we needed always showed up. So what she had, what I call, in manufacturing, they call it JIT, just in time. She had a just-in-time God. Okay? I didn't want no such thing. So I asked him, I said, well, God, if you can come just in time before I step off the brink, how come you can't get to me like when I'm a mile back from the brink? Why I got to get up on the brink? I don't want that. So let's stop doing that. Let's stop doing that. So we stopped doing that. And God let me know well in time. Don't go down the road. That's the wrong road, girlie. Don't do it. Okay, don't need to go there. Going over here. Okay? So it's up to you how you want to relate to that spirit in you, how you want to get information, when do you want to get it, how is your life going? And you get to decide, you know what? Yep, I know you're here, and I like that, but I didn't care for that. So let's stop doing that. You're okay. We'll stop doing that. I'm ready. And when you say let's stop doing that, that means you're ready to receive. That's all you're saying. You're saying to yourself and owning and admitting you're ready to do it a different way. This old way is no longer working and you want something different. And the moment you claim it, you have it. The moment you claim it, you have it. That's why I love working with people who are on this spiritual path, because they've already claimed it. So I'm not, it feels like I'm being a wizard, but I'm not. I only talk this way to people who already have claimed that this is where they want to go. So when they start demanding stuff from the universe and they're saying, I talked to Spirit and I said, I need that package on my porch today. And I said, it's going to be there. It's done. I know that it is. I'm not speaking like I'm some sort of magician. I know because you know. I'm only reflecting back what you know. That's all. And so I'm confirming, helping you, confirming what you already know and giving you more license to believe. That's all. That's what we get to do for each other. That's what we get to each other, right? So when someone says they've heard something from Spirit, or they're going this direction because Spirit told them, great, that's yours. Just confirm it with them. Because it's not coming from you. It's coming from the God in them. All you got to do is just be there with them. That's what we do here, right? Support. Yes? So I take a lot of classes, just because I love to. I just love to understand what I know and share it in different ways. So I've shared with you guys about this app that I used. It's called Insight, I-N-S-I-G-H-T, Insight Timer. It's a meditation app. You put it on your phone, free. I pay for it like $30 a year just so that I can download it, because I'm on the plane a lot and I'm gone and I just want to be able to listen to what I want to listen to without internet. But you don't have to, and it has thousands of meditations, whether it's music or whatever it is, and it has lots of classes. And so this one class showed up in my feed, and it was dowsing, which, yeah. So, okay, I've kind of heard of this with water, you just with water. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to listen to that. And so I started listening to it, and he talked about using either sticks or use a crystal, which I had. I had a beautiful crystal that actually it was an onyx that my daughter-in-law gave me, so I'll use that. And he said, the first thing you do is just ask it to tell you what yes looks like. So I said, okay, what's yes? And it did this, it just swung back and forth this way. I said, okay, yes is, okay, all right, great. And what's no? It's this way. Oh, okay, great. And so I'm doing some things, I'm asking some questions, it's telling me here's the thing. You already, and it works. It works beautifully if you need it. But you already know anyway, because it's telling you what you already know. So if you need, so this is back to, if you need confirmation, use it. Because there are some times when I am so emotionally tied up in what I'm praying for that I'm not sure it's not my ego talking or it's God. And so that helps me to get straight. For me, I just say, George, is this you or me? And George said, girl, you know I don't talk this way. This is absolutely you. or it said, yes, of course it's me. It just says it. So whatever you want, there's no right or there's no wrong. It is whatever works for you. It's whatever works for you. Because it's all available to you, and it is all about you and your relationship with Spirit. And however you want to receive that information, it's there for you anytime you want it. Anytime you want it. So as I said, that's why I seek it. I seek it when I use those little tools when I'm just not sure. I'm just so emotionally wrapped up, particularly when it comes to your kids. They're having some trouble in their life, and I want to go against my own advice and give them advice, which we all know that you can't answer a question that isn't being asked, right? That's what giving unsolicited advice is. You're answering a question. They didn't ask you. So they're not listening to you, and now they're all pissed off. And so when I go to give something to my kids or try to give them something, I want to share that. And I say, God, should I speak? And he said, you already know the answer to that. All right, fine. Fine. But so I use it sometimes just to confirm, just so I won't be doing something stupid that I already know and just going against what Spirit's already telling me. But I generally don't. So what I'm talking about is just How do you live? How do you wake up from within? Because that's the only way that it matters. It doesn't make any difference what anybody else is saying unless it resonates with you. When it resonates with you, that means it's in harmony with what you already believe anyway, and go that way. It's fine. But no one outside of you knows more than you do about your life. No one outside of you knows more than you know about you and what's yours to do. Nobody. So just trust that. I'm giving you permission right now to trust it. You are an individualized expression of divine love, peace, wisdom. All of that's within you. Use it whenever you want. Believe. Just believe. And if you don't, and you have some weak moments, get yourself a dowsing rod, a little chin, and just ask. It'll tell you until you no longer need that. Whatever you need. There's no shame, there's no wrong, just whatever works. Just whatever works. So do that, because to wake from within means to live the life that is your life. That's the only life you have to live. It's yours. And anybody else weighing in is weighing in on their life. They're not weighing in on yours. It's as simple as that. They can't weigh in on yours. They don't know you. They can't do it. And the only thing people can do is share their fears. They don't know what's possible for you and spirit together. They can only share what their fears are about what they could do, not about what you could do. Okay? That's the only thing people can share with you. So either you have a group of people that are surrounding you and saying, hey, I couldn't possibly do that, but I really believe that's something you could do. These are people that are trying to support you. Okay? These people are trying to support you. So that's all I'm talking about, is waking from within. Know what you know for sure. And I'm going to give you some action steps, because that's what I like to do. Just try it. Just try asking Spirit a simple question. And quite frankly, they're all simple. They're only complicated to us. But they're all simple and easy. Nothing's too hard for God. Nothing. You think it is because of your background or whatever your experience has been with this situation or what other people are telling you, whatever. But just ask, ask Spirit a simple question that's simple in your heart. Simple in your heart. Like, what should I eat tonight? Because you're trying to lose weight or I don't know, you're worried about something. Just say, what's the best food for me to eat tonight? Just ask that question. It'll pop up. It'll pop up. Not what you read, not what you think, what the doctors have said. What's Spirit telling you to eat for your body right now? Just a simple question. Just ask. And so I'm asking you to try it. Experiment. Life is an experiment. Experiment and experiences. So the more experiences you have with Spirit, the more sure you will be that you are guided and you have the wisdom of God within you, because you do. You do. But me saying it isn't going to convince you. You have to convince yourself. You have to convince yourself. So experiment with what I'm telling you. Try it, experience with it. And once you do that, once you begin to do that and start having experiences built up with that, you will be grounded in divine love. Grounded in that. Grounded in peace. Grounded in wisdom. Divine love is your anchor against all the winds that are flowing out there. Everybody's got something to say. Winds are blowing, waves are flying. And divine love is your anchor. The thing that you can go into and know what's yours to do and not be swayed by what is going on in the larger world. And of course, there's yours to do, whatever that is, in the larger world. But perhaps for peace that Jason's talking about, maybe it's peace in you. Maybe it begins with you. How do you bring peace if you don't have peace? So get peaceful in your own heart. It starts there. That's what we can do. Peace around the people that you live with, your family, your friends, whatever, your coworkers, your boss. Just bring it. Bring the peace with you. You can be. This is what I know for you. And you know this. You know for sure, because we've seen this happen. We can go to a gathering, and someone shows up that is the life of the party. They're just lit up, and you know you're gonna have a great time because that person showed up. They like you and they like everybody and they're just fun and they're sharing their experiences and they want to hear about your experiences. You love them. And then there's that person that comes in and it kind of like, who's that person that's the Peanut character that's got the little rain cloud over his head all the time? Whoever that. Who is it? Piglet? Pigpen, that's it, because he's dirty too. He's got a little dust flying all around, little feet dusty. And so nothing's going right. Nothing's ever going right. He's walking into, how you doing? Oh, my day. Whatever. and that's his life. That's his perception. But my point is this, is that you can be the peace. If you are peaceful and you walk into a space that seems like it's disruptive, your peace will help the place be peaceful. It will. And I'm not telling you to go and do anything that you don't do. I'm saying who you are and what you bring to the table has an effect. Has an effect on the rest of, because we're all connected, not only consciously, but not want to say chemically, but energetically. Energetically, we feed off of each other with the energy. So if there's, and sometimes you can't do it. There's too much negativity in the room. So what's your best thing to do? Leave it. Just walk away. You don't have to be there. If you don't know how to play, if you don't like the game, leave it. Don't play it. Play a different way. And so you can choose not to play that game. So there's too much negativity going on in here, and it's only got a muddy mind. So I'm going to step on out of here. These are choices you can make. So that's what we do. Just try it, experiment with it, test it, and get grounded in divine love, peace, and wisdom. Just one last story I want to tell you about, because this is important, I think, for us to understand. So she calls me. She shouldn't call me because she lives overseas. She WhatsApp. She WhatsApp me and texts me and all this sort of thing. And so anyway, had a conversation with someone who was challenging her about her belief. And so and it was someone that was dear to her. So she was having some difficulty with that person. And here's what I know. Here's what I know for sure, and I believe is going on. People who don't know, they don't know. They don't know. And you're not going to convince them, you're not going to convince anyone about a spiritual awakening by speaking logically to them. It's not a logical situation. You can't go, well, 1 and 1 is 2, and so then when, it can't be 3, it can't be 4, it's always going to be 2. It doesn't work that way, right? It is a spiritual belief. It is it's spiritual, not just a belief, but a knowing, and it takes courage. It takes courage to step out in faith and believe what your heart is telling you. But every time you do, you are convinced that Spirit is within you and guiding you, but you have to do it every time. Courage is not something that you put on like a cape and it's all done. It's like every time you're going to do something that's fearful, go to the next level in your life, get into a new relationship, whatever it may be, you're going to have the courage to step into it and trust Spirit will guide you. You wouldn't be there if it wasn't going to guide you. It's as simple as that. So every single thing you do is going to take courage and belief. And beyond belief, knowing. Knowing. So, and the bottom line for her, I said, here's the thing. What I believe, when people challenge you about what you believe, it's because they want to believe and they don't know how. They want to believe and want to have what you have. And they're asking you to help them. But you can't if they won't take a leap of faith, if they won't try it. So you don't have to take on what they're telling you. You already, because why? Because you know for sure already. So again, when you know something for sure, you don't have to argue with people. That's their argument. It's not yours. Okay. You don't have to, just because somebody says, well, show me how that would, nope. You can just say no. Because when they tell you that in a challenging way, they don't really want to know. They don't really want to know, so why bother? Walk away, change the game. Change how you play it. You don't have to get in those conversations. So I said, stop getting into that conversation. When he is ready, or she is ready, or when they are ready to actually know, they'll come to you and say, I see your life is working this way, and I really want to understand how that works. That's an open question. That is someone who wants to know. Okay? So we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. Awaken to your life is an inward journey. Fellow travelers, yes, we're all fellow travelers. You have to have an inner knowing. And the best example that I can give of an inner knowing, and we have this a lot. We have these things that you don't know why you know, but you did. And my son was a little toddler. I don't know how old he is, born in 77, so what is that, 45, 50, whatever. And he was a toddler, and I was looking over at him. He was coming walking by. He was doing that. What is happening here? So I grabbed him, and he had something in his throat. There was something stuck in his throat. And so I just opened his mouth, like just grabbed his jaw and just stuck my finger, whoom, and jammed it all the way down. Just jammed it down. When I told other people about that, what happened, they said, "Oh my God, you don't ever do that. We could have made it get stuck, and you never do that." But that's what Spirit told me to do. I knew in the moment what to do. And it just went on down. It was fine. It was a little toy soldier. Yeah, boom, and it went on down. I knew that. On the other hand, when my daughter had a bee stuck up her nose, I didn't know what to do. I took her right to the doc. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. Let me take her on over. I had no intuition about that. Right? When you know, you know. That's all. And I just knew. There was nothing to talk about or discuss. Told me, I did it, it worked. That's how it happens. Okay? That's how it happens. You have to believe, you have to trust. Do it. See what happens. Do it. See what happens. Prove it to yourself. That's all I have. So I want to leave you with something this. Love is always with you because you are love. Divine guidance, divine wisdom is always with you because you are divine love. And divine wisdom has no place else to go. It is you. Do you understand that? It is you. It has no place else to go. It's always going to be you. Let me leave you from Helen Keller. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. And so it is. Namaste.